Hello guys, how are you? Today I have brought you a movie that happens in a haunted forest, and our lovely heroine ends up getting lost in the forest. She tries hard to her very last breath to escape from the forest, but she ends up in a mysterious room in the middle of the forest, where she meets three others who are stuck here just like her. The story revolves around their struggle to escape the forest during the day, and their nightly performances for the mysterious entities living in the forest. Upon failing to do so, the only thing they lose is their lives. Let us see how they plan their escape from this godforsaken forest and whether they do get out alive or not in this 2024 horror fantasy film called The Watchers. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins in the middle of the forest, where we find a man running away from something. The man comes across a signboard tagged "Point of No Return, number 108. The man does not stop here and keeps on running until he realizes that he is running around in circles. So the already gloomy sky turns black with the appearance of a group of birds. The man thinks of looking at where the birds are headed to and climbs on top of a tree. But when he is almost at the top, the branch breaks and the man ends up falling on the ground. Till now we do not see from what the man is running from. And just when he feels that all hope is lost, the man notices something coming close to him. Sitting beside death's door, the man takes a clear look at the figure in front of him and spouts that it is impossible, only for the man to get dragged by the creature into the forest. The scene changes, and we are at a pet shop in the city. With the sadness the animals in their cages feel, our heroine of the story is introduced here, and her name is Mina. Mina has been sad for many years, owing to witnessing the loss of her mother in an accident 15 years ago. Mina still struggles to find happiness in life. Back to the present. The pet shop's owner brings a yellow parrot and tells Mina to take on the delivery of the bird to the customer. Mina agrees to make the delivery the following day, and takes the parrot home after work. In the morning, Mina takes the parrot and heads out for the delivery. Her destination is at the zoo outside of town. On her way, Mina receives a voicemail from her sister mentioning that it is about time. Mina comes out of being alone and sad all the time and visits the rest of the family since they are all here for her. But Mina ignores the message and continues driving. Soon, Mina enters the forest, which is supposedly the forest where the running man went missing. Now, nothing happens immediately, but as Mina drives further inside, the car comes to a sudden stop. She tries restarting the car, but she is out of luck. Seeing no other way out of this, Mina gets out and takes the parrot and starts walking, hoping to find someone passing by. She tries calling out for help, and even though she has only covered a few steps away from her car, Mina turns back in shock to find that her car is nowhere to be seen. So Mina tries running back in the direction she came from, but soon realizes that she is literally lost in this forest. Some distance later, Mina comes across a signboard similar to the one the man saw, but the only difference is that the number on this board is 12. Mina is confused, and since it is getting dark, she sits down to gather wood to start a fire. But a large group of birds fly past her, scaring her. Mina fears that something is headed her way and starts running with the parrot in her hands. To her surprise, Mina notices an old lady at a distance and calls out to her for help. However, the old lady starts running as well, and because of this, Mina chases after her. Soon, the old lady reaches a cabin and opens the door. She shouts to Mina to enter inside within the count of 5 if she wants to live. Sensing the seriousness of the old lady's voice, Mina gives it her all and manages to cross the door right before the old lady closes it completely. Mina finds two others with the old lady inside the cabin and asks, "What is happening in the forest?" The old lady starts with the introductions. Her name is Madeline, and the girl is Ciara, and the boy is Daniel. Madeline tells Mina to follow what they are doing and mentions that the Watchers are here for them. They cannot come out during the day, and at night, these Watchers roam the forest, and the only way for them to survive is to stay hidden inside this room and perform for the Watchers. Only then does Mina realize that one side of the room appears to be a mirror. The scene zooms out, showing us the appearance of the room like a huge TV, with the ones inside like characters. Just like us, Mina is also confused as to what they are doing, since all they do that night is stand still for these so-called Watchers to observe them. The night passes by without any issues, and in the morning, Mina follows the others outside the cabin, but Mina goes ahead of them. Seeing this, Ciara asks where she is going, and Mina replies that they are crazy, and she has to escape from this forest. Mina walks with the plan to only stop after going out of the forest, but her hopes come crumbling down when Mina witnesses the view, where all she can see is the forest. Madeline arrives there and tells Mina that they have been trying for months to escape, but couldn't do so. Madeline takes Mina towards one of the no point of return signboards and reveals that once they have come across the signboards, they have to return to the room, or else it will be too late for them to escape from the Watchers. Mina asks Madeline to explain further and who built these boards. Madeline mentions that a professor built everything and tells her to follow her back to the room and they can continue talking there. In the next scene, Mina is back in the room and Ciara is performing a dance for the watchers. Mina also notices a TV playing a video of House in loop. Witnessing everything so far, Mina comes to a conclusion that whatever they are telling her might be true. In the morning, Mina joins Ciara outside the room. Ciara mentions that she and her husband John got lost together in the woods. He left the room a week before, and she thinks that he might have escaped and come back to save her soon. Sadly, only we know that John is the man we saw in the beginning of the movie, and he is no longer alive. Ciara then tells Mina that she will show her something, but she has to keep it a secret from Madeline. Ciara takes Mina further and shows her a hole in the ground. Now, Ciara reveals that there are many similar to this one all around the forest. She also mentions that this is where the watchers hide during the day, and all the holes are connected, forming an underground network. But with how normal Ciara feels talking about all this, Mina asks her for how long she is stuck here. Ciara casually says that may be around 6 to 7 months. Which absolutely shocks Mina. In the next scene, Mina and Ciara are with Madeline. Madeline once again reminds Mina about the rules she has to follow to stay alive in this forest. Rule number 1 is that she has to return to the room once it gets dark, and no matter what, the door of the room shall be kept closed during the night. Rule number 2 is that inside the room, she has to look at the mirror and not turn her back on it, since the watchers are monitoring them. And rule number 3 is that she must never go near the holes in the ground. At night, Mina wonders about the watchers and happens to turn her back to the mirror. Immediately, she hears strange noises outside the room. Madeline comes to make her look at the mirror and reminds her that the watchers are always there. The next day, Mina joins Daniel outside the room. Daniel's job is to catch the birds flying around the forest using traps. It is the only source of meat for them, and he mentions that Madeline has assigned this job for him. Daniel says that this is because Madeline has been here even before they were here, and she is the one helping them stay alive. However, hearing this, Mina gets suspicious of Madeline and insists that she does not believe in these watchers. So Mina insists on seeing what these watchers are and goes towards the hole in the ground. Since Mina is persistent, Daniel has no other way but to help her, so he lends her the rope he has, and Mina uses it to get down the holes. Mina uses her lighter and sees that there is a bicycle, a video camera, and a few other things used by humans. She ties them around using the rope and asks Daniel to pull them up. Only then does Mina realize that she is not alone there. She hears someone breathing behind her. She notices a hand moving towards her, but what shocks her is that it is not human. She is stunned to see this, but also realizes that the hand gets burned when it comes in contact with the daylight. Mina immediately calls for Daniel, who puts down the rope, and she escapes from the hole. They decide to keep this a secret from Madeline and Ciara, but Madeline questions her where she got the items from. But Mina brushes it off, stating that she found them lying around the forest. Madeline knows that Mina is lying to her, but she lets her go. They get back to the room to find Daniel fixing the video camera they found, and he tells them that he is linking the camera to the TV inside the room so that it acts like a CCTV to see what the watchers actually look like. At night, the four of them are seated at the table, looking towards the mirror for the watchers. Right then, they notice movement outside the room and notice that it is a human standing outside. As they ponder about this discovery, they hear a voice saying that it is John who has returned. Hearing this, Ciara gets up to open the door, but Madeline stops by reminding her about the rule and says that she cannot open it. Since this has never happened before, Madeline thinks that this might be because of Mina and asks her to explain what she had done. Mina finally reveals everything, and Madeline explains that what she had done has angered the watchers. Ciara is talking to John, and Madeline comes to her saying that it is not her husband. To confirm this, Madeline tells Ciara to ask something only her husband might know. So Ciara asks John what was the gift he had got for her that she really likes. Unexpectedly, she does not get an answer from John. But even then, Ciara asks John to show them his face, and he does that. The four watching this realize it is John, but their surprise breaks when John is pulled away by something along with the camera. They hear the watchers getting angry. Madeline stands before them and tells them to watch the mirror. However, the watchers in anger smash the mirror, which creates a crack. Soon, the watchers leave the place. In the morning, Madeline takes back the items and throws them in the hole Mina brights them from. She tells Mina that rules are there to be followed and insists that she follow them strictly from now on. This conversation triggers an old memory for Mina. 15 years ago, Mina and her sister were in the car with their mother. While her sister sat there quietly, Mina was playing with the window, which distracted her mother. Her mother reminds her to follow one thing that was told to her, but Mina doesn't listen to her and screams. This distracted the mother, leading to an accident where she lost her life. This explains the reason Mina has been living away from her sister. Yes, it was the guilt for causing the death of her mother. Back to the present, Mina realizes that it is best to listen to what Madeline says. But to escape from here, she has to do something. Mina starts marking the trees around her, and on her way, she notices Madeline scolding Daniel for not catching any prey that day. Mina returns to the room and finds Ciara staring outside through the mirror. Mina keeps to herself when she notices Ciara suddenly get up and leave the room. Since it is getting dark, Mina is worried and follows her out. Ciara walks to the hole and says that John is inside there, but Mina says otherwise, and it is best for her not to do anything crazy. Ciara finally calms down and returns, but on their way back, Mina and Ciara are shocked to see Daniel beating up Madeline. Daniel says that he is the leader now and starts running towards the room. Ciara follows him, while Mina stays back to help Madeline. Daniel and Ciara reach the room, but before Mina and Madeline enter, Daniel closes the door. They plead for him to open the door, but Daniel says otherwise. Since they are almost out of time, Madeline takes Mina to the hollow tree right in front of the room and tells her to stay quiet. Soon, the last light of the day disappears, and they find a hand in front of them. Mina finally sees the Watcher before her. Madeline uses her hand to stop Mina from making any noise, and they notice the Watcher standing on its feet. Its tall figure scares Mina, and seeing that there are only 2 people inside the room, the Watchers scream, which makes the other Watchers appear beside it. Hearing the noise, Daniel screams that 2 of them are still outside, and to catch them if they can. So the Watchers run away from there, searching for the missing 2. And using this chance, Mina and Madeline return to the room, asking Daniel to open the door. Mina also explains her story and tells Daniel that he cannot live with the thought that he caused the death of someone else, and asks him to open the door. Her plan succeeds as Daniel opens the door, but Madeline doesn't say anything to him and simply tells them to stand before the mirror for the Watchers. Madeline comes clean that she is hiding something from them, but that has got nothing to do with them being stuck there. She reveals that she is a professor who studied the folklores and believed in the existence of the Watchers and came here to study them. Madeline explains that Watchers are fairies who have roamed the earth since ancient times and have always wished to become human. She believed that they created this room and this forest to trap humans and observe them so that they can become humans as well. As she is saying this, they hear noise around the room and realize that the Watchers have returned. They are angry and start smashing at the room from the outside. Fearing that they might break open the door, the 4 of them move the table over to block the door. They are shocked to find a hidden door beneath the area where the table was. They decide to go down the door, and as they do so, we are shown that the Watchers have managed to break the mirror. They look around the room and find an old computer there. Daniel turns it on, and they find video logs saved there. A man claiming to be the professor speaks in the video and explains that he is the one who created this room to research the Watchers. He used the poor people in the nearby villages to build this place and left them outside the room during the night as bait for the Watchers. In that way, he has been doing his research on these Watchers. The professor claims that he does feel guilty for doing this, but he had no other way to do his research. Mina decides to play a random video after this, and they find that the professor managed to capture a young Watcher, and he does his study on it in this room. Mina then proceeds to play the last log, and in this the professor claims that he feels terrible for doing this research, and he sees no benefit for humanity in studying these Watchers. He explains that he has prepared 2 bullets, one for himself and one for the Watcher he has captured. But before he leaves, he explains that if anyone is watching this, the only way to escape from this place is to go past the signboard with the number 134. He also mentions to follow the birds when they fly when it gets dark. That way they will find his boat by the river and can escape from the forest since the Watchers cannot swim. After saying this, he heads upstairs, followed by which they hear 2 gunshots. They rest for the night, and since they know a way out, they get out the first thing in the morning. They manage to find the signboard the professor mentioned, but they realize that the signboard is hung on the skeleton of the Watcher. Mina thinks of an idea to let out the parrot she brought with and follows it. Soon they come across a slab on the ground with the carvings of the Watchers, and Madeline interprets the scriptures around the carvings. Having studied what she could about the Watchers, she tells them that the Watchers were beautiful fairies who lived along with humans, but they were trapped by the humans underground, and because of this they lost their beauty, and in the vengeance against humans they want to invade humanity in their form. They continue to follow the parrot, and soon it gets dark. As always, the other birds come their way, and they realize that they are out of time. Right then, they hear countless Watchers coming out of the holes and running towards them. However, they soon find themselves at the river, but only Madeline and the girls can be seen running towards the boat, whereas Daniel goes back to the forest hearing John's voice. Only after Madeline and the others push the boat do they realize that Daniel is not with them. They turn to find him coming out of the forest dragging a body. He shouts to them that he has found John, but Ciara shouts for him to return, saying that it is not him. But before he can escape, the Watcher, in the form of John, inserts its finger inside Daniel's head. Soon, The Watcher transforms into Daniel, and many other Watchers walk out in the form of Daniel. So the three escape through the boat and manage to reach the next town in the morning. They get on a bus, and after they get on, Mina brings up the video of the professor. Here we find that the last video they saw also contained the fact that the professor mentioned that if someone managed to escape this place, they can find his study on the Watchers in his room at the university in the next town. So Mina tells the two to go their way, and she intends to visit the professor's room to see what she can find. Mina visits the university and gets inside his room, saying that she is the professor's relative. She manages to find a box in his room. It has all the materials he has gathered so far about the Watchers. Mina is shocked to find the contents, because it mentions that in ancient times, when the fairies and humans lived together, they even had children together. She thinks about taking all these back and decides what to do with it after discussing it with Ciara and Madeline. Mina takes another look around the room and finds a photo on the table, which gives her the shock of a lifetime. In the next scene, Mina returns to find Ciara and explains what she found. She also tells her about the photo that she found that Madeline is the professor's wife. Ciara is confused as well, and it is then revealed that Madeline had died before and after the professor found the existence of the Watchers. He sought them out to make one transform into his wife. Mina also reveals that Madeline is the Watcher he had captured to do his research. Ciara questions, if Madeline is a Watcher, then how is it possible for her to be alright during the day? Here, Mina reveals about the children of man and fairy having the ability to overcome this, and that is how she has been staying inside the forest this whole time. Since the Watcher never knew the way out of the forest, it has been staying in the room this whole time. Right then, a car comes in, and while they think that it is Madeline, Mina is shocked to find that it is Ciara walking in. It turns out that Mina has been talking with Madeline, who has transformed herself into Ciara, using her powers this whole time. While Ciara is confused, the Watcher transforms into John and hits Ciara on the head, making her lose consciousness. It then goes after Mina, saying that it will take her place as well. It captures her and changes into Mina right before her eyes. But before it could kill her, Mina mentions that it still hasn't understood itself. Mina claims that it is a guardian angel chosen by God to protect humanity. Here, Mina makes it remember that it could have killed her and the others, but it saved them from the others. Mina also mentions how it stood in front of them while the other Watchers attacked the room. This triggers the Watcher to change into Madeline and change into its true form. It flies outside, breaking the glass, and it flies into the darkness of the night. After this, she finds that Ciara is alright, and she explains everything to her. After a few days, we find Mina talking to someone just like her. We might think it is the Watcher, but it turns out it is her sister. Right then, we are shown a girl standing outside their house watching their house. She is the Watcher, who has now decided to be Mina's guardian angel. And this is where the movie ends. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe and leave a like to help the channel out. Until next time, this is your host for Movie Recap signing off. Thanks for watching.